Hello again. My name is Frances Stone. I'm a certified addictions counselor in New Westminster, BC. I've started doing these YouTube videos, and full disclosure, I really have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm kind of committing to the process of doing it anyways. So yeah, a little bit about me. I'm a mother in recovery. I've been in recovery for 15 years and sober for 8. Those are two different things to me. And I kind of mentioned it in the last video, and I thought maybe I'd explain it a bit more. Basically, like I consider my recovery process to have begun really when really my recovery process began when I became a mom, really, because that was the first time that I turned my will over to the care of God as I understood him. I was raised Catholic, so my belief was that it was kind of like that defining moment of what do I believe in terms of having my child, and no judgment whatsoever for anybody that makes different choices. But that was the choice that I chose. That was the choice that I chose. Sorry, thank you. And again, I'm not editing these videos and I'm not going to be perfectionistic about it. So if I mess up, then that's it. I mess up. It's very organic. So hopefully that will be a positive thing. But yeah, so I made the choice to have my child, and that began a process of just wanting to be a better person. But I had experienced a lot of trauma in the relationship with his dad. So I just worked. Work was my solution at that time. I didn't think about my feelings. I didn't cry. I didn't feel. I didn't do any like inner work. I just didn't feel anything. I was really, really numb. And I just focused on working my way out of poverty. What I found out about that was that if you have all these different blocks, at least for myself, these different blocks to my own heart, to my own spirit, that I wasn't able to work myself out of poverty, because poverty is like a mindset that actually just blocked me. Like it wouldn't have mattered how much money I made, because I would have just spent it, because I didn't really feel deserving of, wealth or money or goodness. But yeah, so that's kind of another story. I do tend to kind of go off in like little rabbit trails. So I work really hard to like bring myself back in, but it's definitely a work in progress. Okay, so we're talking about, I became a mom, and that was the beginning of my recovery process. Was when I had a spiritual experience where I forgave the father of my children for the things that I experienced in our relationship. So I kind of had this mindset, like, I was the good girl, and like he was the bad guy. And I had this epiphany where I realized that we were both from, broken homes and broken places with broken hearts, and that we met to sort of like heal each other. And it just took away the judgment that I had of him, and it placed my responsibility back on me to look at myself and my part in the situation, which I had never really considered before. So that was really when my healing began, is when I took personal responsibility for my own feelings, my own life, my own decisions, and really stopped blaming other people, stopped blaming my mother, which was always a good target. Stopped blaming my ex for, who he was and how he chooses to live his life. Just stop blaming other people, and just really took responsibility for my own life, my own feelings, and my own emotions, and my reactions and responses to the things that people do, instead of just blaming the world for being the world. And so that was really when my recovery process began, I would say, when I started taking personal responsibility for my own self. And not just my life, because I had always taken responsibility for my life, like with working hard and that sort of thing, but I didn't take responsibility for my feelings or for my mindset or for things like that, where the recovery process really began for me when I started to do that. So that was in January 2005. And then that was January 2005. And at that point, I really wanted to follow God. And I had a Catholic concept of God. So I thought that the right thing for me to do was to go back to the relationship, and that was me, sacrificing my own life to do the right thing. That was my mindset. That's what I thought was the right thing to do. So I did that. And I didn't think I would talk about this. So this is different. But yeah, so that happened. So I went back to the relationship, and then we had our second child together in 2006. Then we had our third child together in 2007. And then I left the relationship because it was really lonely and I felt very unloved and unwanted. And I had basically done everything that I could possibly think of, including just letting go and doing nothing. And it just still wasn't a healthy relationship. It was still a very toxic relationship and very unloving. And so then that sort of began the process of focusing more on sobriety and self-reflection work versus trying to fix the outside. I would say that fixing the outside meant like going back to the relationship, trying to be a Christian family, or what I thought that looked like. And then, after that didn't work, I focused on the internal stuff. And so that was, I didn't really commit to my sobriety. So that would have been like 2007, my daughter was born. And I adore all my children, and I'm so grateful to be their mom. And, but my commitment to my sobriety didn't really happen until 2013, when I lost my mom. And I made a commitment to her that I would be good. And before then, I had like I would get a year, or I would get 2 years of continuous sobriety, but I would always kind of give up, and just say, screw it, kind of thing. And I just really didn't know how to like maintain long-term sobriety, how you would really commit to that kind of lifestyle, long-term, really, like just say, yeah, like I'm in, and I'm going to stop giving up, and I'm going to stop, making excuses or justifying whatever. Like some people call it the no matter what club. Like no matter what, I'm going to stay sober. And I am in that club now. I never want to drink again, which is really kind of amazing. For me, it's like it doesn't hold any desire for me whatsoever. Like when I used to drink, like I was really kind of fake and superficial, and I kind of get this like whole mindset when I drink. Like I get a lot of ego, and I get a lot of self-centeredness, and I feel like really entitled, and I'm just not the best version of myself. And when I'm walking a path of recovery, I'm continually trying to be the best version of myself, and I'm continually trying to be like kind to people. And if I'm not being kind to people, then I reflect on like what's going on with me, that I'm not able to be kind to people. Like, why am I feeling so stressed out? Versus like, I don't blame other people. And I just find like if I was drinking, I think I would be hanging around different people. I would be, in different environments where it just wouldn't, I don't know, like encourage me to be the best person that I can be. And I find that when I'm in recovery, that I'm constantly encouraged to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And that's good for me. And I'm grateful for that. And I don't think that that would be the case. I know that wouldn't be the case if I was drinking. And that's the, good version of drinking. If I were able to go back to drinking and not drink alcoholically, that would just be like normal drinking. And I just don't want alcohol at all, which is awesome. And I actually like look at people that do it and I just think like, wow, it's so much money. Like, there's such a high cost to it. And just in lots of different ways. It's just kind of a pain. Like you have to, get a designated driver. It's a lot of money to go to the thing. And I don't know, like I truly like being sober. I enjoy it. I think it's a better life. I enjoy my sober life. So that's awesome because it wasn't always that way. And I totally thought that being sober was going to be super boring. And now I know that being sober is like, it has so much more to offer than I ever experienced drinking. Because when I drank, I would just like drink every weekend and I would just end up never doing anything really. Didn't really pursue anything that, I would think of things and I would talk about things, but I would never actually do the things. And now in recovery, I actually really do the things. Like I have this like, sort of internal drive or internal push that's like, pushes me to want to do the things that are put on my heart. If I have ideas, for the most part, I like to pursue them. And for the most part, I do. I do have a lot of ideas, so I do have to pick the ideas that I will pursue. But I have lots of things that I want to do with my life, and I think if I were to start drinking again, that I would never do those things. I would just work and drink, and that would just be like such a boring life. So I'm so grateful to be sober and in recovery. And I guess for me, the difference between sober and in recovery is sober to me is where you're not really doing like internal work. You're not really like looking at yourself and self-reflecting on your spirituality and your behavior, your boundaries, how you're showing up in the world, whether you're practicing, self-care, whether you're taking care of yourself, spiritually, emotionally, physically, like you're reflecting. Like in recovery, like you're reflecting. And sober is just not drinking. And that's okay. There's definitely less damage that can be done by staying sober. And but like in recovery to me is like more of like being on a spiritual path of like self-reflection and self-improvement, really. And trying to seek, a higher power's will for your life and trying to help other people and make the world a better place and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, which I absolutely had no idea I was going to talk about that. So I will end with just saying that that I have no idea what I'm doing, but I am making a commitment to doing it. And even though my hair's not perfect and my makeup's not perfect and all the things aren't perfect and my life isn't perfect and nothing is perfect, I'm still going to show up. And I'm still going to be committed to putting a video out on Tuesday and Thursday and just talking about, my experience with recovery. And, I do pray before I come on, and I kind of have like no idea what I'm going to talk about at this point. Maybe I'll get more space in my life to plan a little bit more. But at this point, I'm really just winging it. So I really appreciate if you listen to this video to the end, and I hope you will subscribe. I am trying to get 4,000 subscribers, which honestly just seems like a million at this point, but you never know. Commit to the process and see how it goes. And yeah, so this is my Tuesday video, and I will be posting another one on Thursday. And I thank you very much for watching and hopefully subscribing. And if you're wanting to follow me in other areas, I'm at Miss Frances Stone on Instagram and Facebook. I think I'm Frances Stone Counsellor on Facebook. And then I do have a website as well, which is francesstonecounselor.com. So check me out, follow me, and yeah, stay connected. And thanks for watching. The end.